one of the best parts about living in a small area is you know everybody.
Yeah.
And so I know my doctor really well. I've seen him for 15 years now. And we're on a first name basis. If I see him in Tops, he'll be like, Levi, how's that infection? And I don't know. I'm just messing with it.
That's funny.
Hi, this is Unlimited Access. My name is Levi.
And I'm Shannon Aylsworth.
And here at Ursamin, we believe that people make better health decisions if they have access to all of their health information, like in a very healthy architecture. I use the word architecture for you.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
I don't know if that really...
I don't know if it resonates with anybody. It was kind of a weird place for that. Like, it made sense, but that's okay.
Okay, so two things. Number one, we're going to talk about hospitals closing because that's really important.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the industry? But before we do that, just a real quick update. The app is now open. I was trying to think for sale. It just didn't sound right when I say for sale. The app is open and ready for people. So if you please sign up, again, you have 2 months free, 60 days to get in and get involved. And I think you're going to find it extremely useful for you as a consumer. And just want to remind everybody that. Now, number two, more of a deep thought for our thought leader, Shannon. Tell me, mission, why is that tagline not the mission? Because it seems like we're almost there.
What, your health info in one app?
Yeah. Or not in one app. It's like we believe, right?
We believe
that people make better health decisions, right? And so shouldn't our mission be to help people make better health decisions?
Yeah, but we're not. We're helping people get access to the people who help them make decisions. Our job is to help them engage better with their healthcare team and their caregivers and their family to make better decisions. So yeah, I mean, it does. We do. At the end of the day, we help people make better decisions, but it really is about connecting people more effectively to their team. And you can't do that today with any platform out there. Like I've said, if there was a platform out there, more power to it. I'd throw my weight behind it. But right now, everything is so fragmented that you can't get to the people that you need to have a conversation with. Even your own family doesn't know. So to me, it's like, yes, all of that info. That's where the changing of the brand was about navigating all of the info. And by info, we mean not just records. People always go back to that. You know how much I love that.
I didn't say records, just to be clear.
But like, who is your care team, especially as people live longer? They've got 12 doctors. We got chronic illnesses. You don't know what doctor you saw. Listen, you hope your primary care sets you up. Knowing who that doctor is and when, and let's be fair. Everybody forgets their history of health. So if I say, who did you see last year for a gastro because you had a stomach ache, you're probably going to be like, Dr. So-and-so at some business. So it's all about just keeping it together so that you can make better health decisions every day. And because healthcare has shifted to chronic illnesses, which you can live with forever, but have a terrible quality of life. It's important you have that. It's a lot of data all over the place. Lots of doctors, lots of data, lots of everything. It's imperative now that we have that. So we do. We think people make better decisions. We think everybody feels better. The patient experience is better. The doctors are happier because they have all that data. I spoke with an ER doctor yesterday who said just being able to see when that person may have had a blip in their health and then being able to dig into the record to see what happened, I can tell whether that's relevant to this episode. So they're really looking for the patients to help them as well. So it's, yes. At the end of the day, we help people make better health decisions.
All right. So there you go. I think we're getting close to
a
mission statement. Not that we don't know what we're doing. I think it's a statement that we can plant a flag in the ground that's like wordsmithed exactly perfect. And
yeah. Hey, maybe we have a contest. Maybe we have a contest. People are smart. I think it's like whenever the doctors that I've gotten to talk to over the last month, man, they're so smart. Like, this is just, I know we all want it. We need to get it. And it's really what, I think the other challenge, I have with that mission statement is everybody says it. So there's such noise in healthcare and there's a lot of people saying the same thing that, quite honestly, I don't know at times, does everybody really understand that? For me, my mission is I don't want everybody to have to be what my mom and I have to go through.
Right.
I didn't want to see her doctor's faces like you know how I feel about that. Like making sure one more person gets the care when they need it. So maybe we figure it out.
Maybe. All right. Well, let's talk about something in the industry itself. Is that according to the U.S. News and World Report, there's a reference to a couple other articles in here. The Center for Healthcare Quality and Payment Reform report. They all state that more than 600 rural hospitals, nearly 30% of rural hospitals nationwide are going to close. So that's just looking at the rural ones, but there are other reports about even larger hospitals all around the U.S. closing. From your perspective, why are they closing, and what does that really mean to us? Do you know why they're closing?
Yeah.
Because this one talks about cash-strapped hospitals.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think that's vague. The reason why they're not getting money is because of something.
So it all circles back to, so 646 hospitals, especially rural, which means rural people who are already have a hard time getting to the doctor because it's so far away. They're rolling out things like Homeward, which is a company that rolls doctors out into the field. Dollar General just bought a physician practice so that you can go to your Dollar General and get health care. They're doing that because it is moving to chronic illnesses, which is regularly managing your care. 66 million people in the world, in the U.S. alone, have 3 or more chronic illnesses. Everybody has at least one, like 140 million people have at least one. They need more regular care. So what's happening is the consumers are demanding more regular care because they can't go to the hospital. And so that's moving people away from the hospital. Everybody's mantra is to move away from the hospital. So that's dropping the revenue, in which case you won't have them when you need them, which is why it's going to become more critical that you manage your care. Because when you do need to go to the ER, you don't want them to be short-staffed. You want them to be really efficient at how they manage you, especially because somebody said this to me the other day. She said, whenever you get an autoimmune disease, they bring a friend or 4. It's renowned. Like any autoimmune disease, you're gonna get 3. If you get 1, no, the 2 more are coming behind, and they interact with each other: diabetes, kidney, heart. And so your kidney starts to fail because your diabetes is tiring it out. You're gonna end up in the hospital, and you need them to have the right information so that they don't misdiagnose. So it's a really scary thing to see that they're cash strapped, but it's just kind of the movement of patients needing more regular care, in-home care, keeping people in the home, especially because our population is aging, keeping them in the home, not in nursing homes, keeping them in the home with a family caregiver who is now responsible.
Well, it's like rural, right? I live in a rural place, Casanova, New York, and it's just rural means, outside of the suburbs, right?
Yeah.
Even though people might commute from where I live to Syracuse, it's still, farming surrounds, where I live. And one of the best parts about living in a small area is everybody.
Yeah.
And so I know my doctor really well. I've seen him for 15 years now. And we're on a first name basis. If I see him in Tops, he'll be like, Levi, how's that infection? And I don't know. I'm just messing with No, but so anyway, and I think that's kind of what we're talking about, is this idea of like, if everybody gets into the big hospitals, let's say if all of the rural places close and now you have to drive into the city to the big hospitals, I think there'll be that lack of personal touch, that lack of I know you and you and I are close. And that's where, like an app like ours would come in. And not to overly pitch and sell our app in this particular scenario, I think it's just important to acknowledge that's going to be the problem. And I'm going to walk into the hospital and I'm not going to know anybody in there. I'm not going to know the nurse. I'm not going to know anybody at the front counter. I'm not going to know the doctor. And somehow, some way, I've got, 11 minutes with that doctor for her or him to diagnose everything.
Yeah.
And I just want to be able to, like, here's my phone,
right,
or whatever, and here's all the information. So there's that particular piece to it. But what about like this idea of, oh my gosh, I had a brain freeze there. I was reading through the article and my brain freeze. I don't remember.
Well, I mean, to what you just said, the idea is that the doctors will be closer to you. You're fortunate you have a doctor close to you. A lot of people in rural space don't have it. They have to drive 100 miles to a doctor. That's why I say like Dollar General, which is in hundreds of thousands. I don't think it's that much. Sorry. I always exaggerate. 19,000 stores. I don't know. Maybe it's 119. they're in every rural area. I was never so impressed when I went to it. I was like, they have everything.
Yeah.
Well, they bought a medical practice so they can get closer to the rural areas. You can't always have a standalone doctor's office in a small town of 300 people. But you can put somebody in a Dollar General that services a bigger area so that you do know that doctor. And to your point, then you go into the emergency room, however far away, and they're probably not going to have your data because that data is all structured inside other silos again. So it's like, it's moving away from the hospitals, including the information is moving away from the hospitals. That's why it gets more critical wearables and everything. It's just producing so much information.
I've been, now that we have the app and I've been using it on a regular basis, I've been tracking data and putting more and more in there. It's fun to kind of start to see that collection of stuff. And now here we get an example. My blood pressure. Now I have fine blood pressure. I don't really have a blood pressure issue, but I do like tracking it and kind of seeing the chart.
Sorry.
Well,
tracking it and seeing the chart, yes.
Yeah, I like seeing the data. Maybe it's my non-Uber driving economic side to me that like seeing data and spreadsheets.
Well, the charts are going to be, so right now it's still early. It's still a newbie platform where we're like, okay, let's get everything in and then figure out what people want to see. And I think the charts are like, when I looked at some of my mom's, there were a couple systems that had great charts. I'm like, if I could have that for all of my health, then I would know. Like, I mean, I just went into my doctor, my cholesterol's through the roof. It's never done that. And I'm like, has it ever? And I would love to see the chart. And that's also what the doctor wants to see, funny enough. I think we are all visual people. Yeah. I think we like visuals. I do like to read, but I prefer a visual. It's how I understand better. And so I think that's where that's what we'll do. Like in some of the upgrades, we're going to start adding the visuals. I actually just saw John sent us one today with charts and stuff, but it was more of a doctor visual. And that was pretty eye-numbing. It was a lot of data. I was like, wow, poor doctors.
Poor doctors. Well, no, they're not poor, but they are definitely overworked, and we appreciate them.
Yes.
Well, that's it for today. Cool. Thank you so much for paying attention and listening to the show. Again, here at Ursamin, we believe that people make better health decisions when they have access to all of their information, their data, even those things we call medical records. And on top of it, our mission is to. That was a point to Shannon.
I know. Well.
You know,
we don't have one yet.
No, we don't. I was going to see what you said naturally. It came right
out.
No,
it's like a deer in headlights. I was like, I don't know. Hold on. I don't know. I'm like a deer in headlights. Our mission is to help people make better health decisions.
See, there you go.
That's what you said.
I knew it. I did not say, I left it blank. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. My name's Levi.
Thank you, Shannon.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.